Tom, what's the latest?
Yeah, Emily, so as you said, the World Health Organization really putting out a call there for global countries or nations around the world to contribute to funding. And they've asked for 675 million US dollars. They say the response to that call for funding has been limited, that countries aren't taking this seriously enough. They say, look, at the moment, the virus is manageable, but of course, time is of the essence, and they need countries to step up in terms of funding to ensure that this doesn't spread beyond the nations that we've seen here in Asia. Of course, here in China, the numbers of cases, as you said, the additional cases have started to slow, and the number of people being discharged who've recovered has increased. So it seems like, at least on the surface, and if you take the data at face value, that there is a positive trend at play here in China. Globally, though, there remains a concern that was highlighted by the World Health Organization's Director General. In terms of some of the clinical trials that we've been seeing, we've heard as well from the WHO that maybe we're going to get some preliminary results, maybe in the next 2 to 3 weeks, of 2 different clinical trials that have been done here in China. One by a drug made by AbbVie, another by Gilead Sciences. State media have reported in the last few weeks that there have been some positive signals from those clinical tests, so we're likely to get more details in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Of course, a lot of focus on whether or not doctors here and experts can come up with a cure for this virus, as of course they continue to battle it. And as you say, here in Beijing, there's a concern that we may be seeing a spike in cases. In Xicheng district, there's been a tick up, a number of cases from 9 about a week ago to about 36, particularly in a hospital in that district. So there's concern there, and restrictions on the movement of people have been put in place. So far, though, for the context, the official numbers suggest that there are about 395 infections in the Chinese capital, and so far about 4 deaths. And of course, the population here is around 21 to 22 million, just to give the context. But certainly there is concern that there may be something of a spike happening in the Chinese capital.
Tom, meanwhile, China's credit numbers spiked in January. Is this going to help mitigate some of the economic damage?
Possibly. This was, of course, in the lead up to the Lunar New Year. And, of course, at that stage, the economy looked like it was stabilizing. This was before we knew about the full extent of the outbreak of the coronavirus in Hubei. So this is the January numbers, 5 trillion yuan in terms of credit, well above the estimates, and that compares to a December number of about 2 trillion yuan. It accounts for about, or is equal to about 720 billion US dollars. It is significant. A lot of it was down to bond issuance at the local government level, which was front-loaded as an attempt to kind of shore up the economy. But we did see a tick up in new yuan loans as well. That is important, particularly the longer-dated loans for the corporate sector. Bloomberg Economics says that is a positive. And in terms of shadow banking, that ticked up for the first time since about March of 2019 as well. Now, Bloomberg Economics says come February, the credit data is expected to slow because of the impact in terms of coronavirus. Of course, the numbers of loans will have dropped significantly because the business activity here has, of course, been hammered. But that is likely to pick up again in March.